Are you ready to dive into the world of business, finance, and personal development? If so, we have a treat for you today. In today's episode, we have an exclusive interview with a serial entrepreneur who's going to share his insights on how he started, grew, and manages his enterprises. But before we get into it, make sure you drop a like below. Liking helps us know what content is valuable for you. Also, comment below on your biggest takeaway. And also, make sure you subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach a wider audience, including sharing this video. Also, we have live studio audiences regularly where you can come and interact with other like-minded entrepreneurs, influencers, and changemakers and be a part of the live recording of the deep dive. So if you want to be part of the live audience, make sure to register below. Link will be in the description. With that being said, let's dive deep. I've been longing to have this conversation with you. Because, by the way, I've seen a lot of what Tashy has done.
Okay.
You know, every time there's an event, I can hear everything from my house. So, can you just quickly walk us through?
You're saying that we are polluting, noise pollution? You can't sleep.
I'm not saying, it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've been there a couple of times actually, and it's lovely. So I actually wanted you to run us through the origins of this. What is the genesis of Tashy's Royal Gardens and how did you begin this?
Well, where do I start? Tashy's Royal Gardens is an events venue place that was started, I think we're going to our 13th year now.
Lovely.
The beginning of this started actually prior to 2013. Actually. When I initially did my studies in Australia, both my undergrad and master's in business administration. But coming here, I fell in love with old cars, should I call them, vintage cars.
Ah, okay.
So the first business, when I came to Botswana, one of the other businesses that I started many other businesses before, which is a topic for another discussion.
Yes.
We started with renting vintage cars and renting vintage cars to different people, different events, especially weddings and corporates as well, corporate events as well. But in going to different events, weddings especially, I realized that in Botswana market, there has been always been this, should I say, niche that was not catered for. You do a wedding, you have people come and do a wedding at your house, right? Which is the venue. Somebody's coming with the tent, somebody's coming with the food, somebody's coming with the sound, somebody's coming with different things. So at the end of the day, you have to deal with about 6-7 suppliers just for that one day event.
6-7 main suppliers, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And including then the vintage cars on the side as well.
Yeah.
And I realized that this is a pain because the bride and the groom at the day have to have a good time. They have to do the administrative issues with 7-8 suppliers on the day, which I found it to be absurd. When we decided to put something together, we put something called Wedding in a Box as a package.
I remember. Yeah.
And when we did that, we actually didn't own anything. I just said to confess, we didn't own anything to do with weddings except the car. And then the farm that we had.
Yes.
So our first task is to get the farm in the habitable states where people can do weddings, that build the structure, get the lawn ready. And we started. And I can confess that in our first wedding, actually, the wedding in a box package is a package that we provided without owning any of those things.
Wow.
Because we got all these contractors to contract to us. Then we gave them at the end to the groom, and we managed everything. So that was more of consultancy. They paid us, we paid the suppliers. They didn't have to deal with the suppliers. We had to deal with everything that the suppliers provided. So that's how we birthed Tashy's Royal Gardens. It is Tashy's Royal Gardens because we wanted to give people a royal experience who wanted to get married, because a wedding is a royal event, basically.
Definitely.
So that's how we started. Yes, I don't know if...
Lovely. How do you push it out there? to people, first of all? How did you let people know that, okay, this is what I'm doing now, and come through?
You
How were you
see,
able to put the word out there?
somebody can prove me wrong out there, but us putting this package together, it was out of market research and finding out, would actually people come and buy this product, firstly? Would the price tag be a reasonable price tag for people to accept? What is our target audience? What do they want? And so forth. So with that market research, we put actually different, it informed us that we needed to put out different packages for different markets and needs. So hence we put out 3 packages. We had the white box, the silver box, and the gold box. And all 3 address different needs, different market needs and market niches. But the most important thing was to get the venue to a certain level that all these 3 would associate with, and which we did. So to market that product, I think our lowest product was 50,000 pula for 300 people at that time who would come and have a wedding. And hence, that alone, the package, what we put together before even going out to radio and other stuff, was already attractive. So my point here is that whatever it is that we put together was to address a need. Whatever business that you do, whatever solution that you come up with, is to address a need that's already there. It's seldom business. Yes, there are some businesses, luxury business especially.
Yes.
They create a product and then the need is created later.
Yes.
But in most businesses that you run today, you are addressing a problem that is already existing in the market. And that's how you would start your business in that way. Similarly, we're addressing a need that was there. So when you put the product together, I think the biggest challenge that we had was people believing that this product is actually there, it exists. Are you saying that I'll pay 50,000 and I don't have to do anything?
Yeah.
I think that was our biggest challenge to convince people to say, yes, it is real. The solution is finally there. And yeah, that's how we push out to the people. But most importantly, of course, you know that you have to now position yourself in the market nicely, how you market, how you give the people the right information out there, and which we did very, very, very aggressively.
Yeah.
Through flyers, radio interviews, I think also a bit of TV interviews as well, and digital marketing. Digital marketing wasn't big then, but we had to forge our way through to make sure that we do that. We pushed digital marketing there.
Okay. Did you have a mentor when you started out in business, your first sting?
Look, I grew up with my mother and my father as an entrepreneur. And he used to do things. He was an entrepreneur, but in the fabrication industry.
Fabrication?
Yes, metal fabrication.
Okay.
Yes. And I used to learn, I see a lot of things because we used to go together. I remember at one time, okay, this is how it works. So a lot of it came from him.
Okay.
A lot of it came from him, though I believe he was also scared that I shouldn't rush too much because he knew the risks of business. Sometimes I gotta want to rush into things, but he was like, slow down. And what's eventually from primary school to high school. I did a lot of things here and there, tried this and that in entrepreneurship. And
so did you learn more from your failures or from your successes?
I don't know if we learn a lot. I don't know if we learn a lot from successes. Successes.
We learn what's working, for sure.
Successes say, okay, let's go on.
Yeah.
But they never, often when we succeed, even when we review our successes, we often never look at what almost made us not succeed or what really made us succeed and can work next time. And often when we are successful, we ride on that wave to the next wave. Right? But when we fail, there's no wave that take me next door. You have to learn how to pedal, create the wave. And when you do actually learn from your failures, it's when you grow the most.
Yes.
Because the level of intuition that you get, if you do introspect, that is, level of intuition that you get, the level of you have to review things and see the decision making process that you went through. Where was it lacking? Where was it maybe cloudy? And knowing that knowledge alone is something that you can't buy with money. It's an experience that you can't buy with money.
So what is the biggest business lesson that you learned? The one that you were like, wow, okay, this really shifted the needle for me. The moment I got this, a lot of things really started to move for me. What was that? Or maybe a culmination of a few lessons that came into play, and you're like, you know what? After getting this, yeah.
Wow. Culmination is a big word.
Yeah.
I don't know what but look, like everybody else, COVID hit everybody left, right, and center unexpected. For us, before COVID was, I told you about the product life cycle. We're just pointing at the tip. We're just about to get to the climax of our performance and growth. In many ways, in terms of what we invested in the business, what we are planning in the business, the kind of clientele that we had got in the business, and so forth. But when COVID came, I must say, like many other people, we were not prepared. We didn't think there could be something of this magnitude. And we are still paying the debts even right now. We're still learning the lessons of our process could reheal themselves, but not to this magnitude of where it's shut down for 2 years.
Yes.
So, that is a lesson. Say, okay, now what do we do? One thing that we had started, though we delayed, there's a couple of other business that we do. So business diversification was one thing that we had learned or we had agreed to. As I mentioned earlier, entrepreneurship is about setting up a business, developing it and let it run, go to the next one. And my biggest problem was that when starting that business, as I explained before, that this thing of nature, something that I love, is a passion. So I let go of my guards as an entrepreneur and did this with a lot of passion and not finished. You must run it as a project. I'm studying this for 2 years. Set up for the first year, maybe run for the second year, and let somebody run it with it and I start something else. So I did that for too long. I ran Tashas for too long before I could focus. I had other businesses running, but I was not giving them as much love and care as I did. I think for me, that was my biggest problem. We have a business that we do, which is also a solution-based business. We give solutions to Botswana. Especially nowadays, it's more relevant now. The timing is even better and correct. Because we say to you, Botswana, you live at your house or you have a plot somewhere that you own or you co-own, whatever. But the important thing, what you need is, you need a house there. So what I was saying, a solution that we have is saying, you don't need to mortgage the house. The other solution that we provided with financiers that you can come to us and then we'll build a house there with certain agreements and platforms that we have with financiers, providing a solution. Because we know nowadays it's easier to go to Botswana and get a car than it's easier to spend 100,000 or 200,000 and build something that you can live, have a roof over your food, or a roof over your head. So those are kind of solutions, the other business that we're running. We do tracking as well, and logistics, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and so forth. So
Lovely.
those are the things that we are doing on the side.
Lovely.
But we never give them as much attention as
the
side project. So that is one of the biggest regrets, if I may say.
That is the lesson you learned. Essentially.
Diversification, do your diversification strategy properly, do your financial planning in diversification properly. Diversify your investments over years. Say, this year, yes, I'm getting a chunk of money from this, but this, I have to dilute in this way and this way. So don't make your chunk of money more than 40% from one source.
Don't make
the chunk of your income more than 40% from your own source. That's my ratio.
Lovely, lovely. I wanna dive also into diversification, because some you'd hear they say diversify across asset classes, and every asset class will lose money at a certain point in time. So that's why you have to have that diversity to be able to cushion the blow
Different
and all of
industries.
that. But the question I want to ask you is, how do you size a business that you want to go into? What is your decision-making format, so to speak? I want to go into this business. How do you break it down and see this is somewhere I can be able to make a difference in people's lives, and it's also something that can be a good economic engine? Yeah. How do you size that?
Look, there are different things that I look at. Firstly, the objective. That some business we set them for different objectives. Some are purely, for example, there are NGOs that are set up.
Yes.
We have an NGO that we set up for purely giving back to the community.
Yes.
And with this business, we don't make profit from it. We give to it. We
give to it.
Yes, it does some other activities. That's the objective, right? If another business that we're thinking, this business want to grow it so that in 20 years can give us X amount. That's a long-term business investment that we're going into. And this business will run, it can probably run at a loss for the first 2-3 years. And we know that it's a loss, but it will cover those losses after the next 20 years.
Oh, okay.
We have the other business, we say, this business, I want to run for a year and I'm out of it because it's a hot, risky business with probably high returns, but I want to do this and then come out of it so that I can go into the next. So when you start a business, it's always, as an entrepreneur, it's always the objective that matters. Why are you setting up that business? What do you want to get out of it? Is it feasible? Time frame? Return on investment is very important. The ROA has to make sense when you invest it. Do you have, and look at other resources that has to go into it. Do you have, the resources would start from money, the people. Because you want to, as I say, you don't want to game, bog down to something, start a business, then you have to run it. Unless it's a plan that I'm going to run it for a year and then hand it over. So I'm setting up systems to make sure that run. But most importantly, why are you setting up that business? What are the outputs that I'm expecting? Do they matter? Will I meet them in the time frames and the resources available? So basically, that's what you need.
So sitting with entrepreneurs, other entrepreneurs would say, choose one thing, become the best at it.
Yeah.
And that's how you will flow. Other entrepreneurs are like you, who are diversified. How are you able to, obviously, it would look as if, they can look at you and say, there's more risk here. You can look at them and say there's more risk there. It just depends on who you are. You obviously developed this over years. How are you able to develop this this personality of, okay, this is my line of business. This is how I like to do things. Because I think there's always a back and forth in the sense of, should I, just to give context, some entrepreneurs would start a business. The moment it's kind of struggling and what they take the money, they put it into another one.
Yeah.
The moment is, how do you make sure that things move properly?
As I was saying, firstly, you must understand, you must be clear about the objective of a business while you're starting it, right? And what's the objective? Some businesses are cash in, cash out, short term. Some are medium term, some are long term. You see. And long-term businesses are businesses that you don't want to put your head in as a cash in business. Those are businesses that you do because you like them.
Yes.
You have passion, you're passionate about it, and you understand what you're doing, and you know the long-term goal of it. Those long-term businesses are not things that you can take a template and say, I'm running this business this way. Those are things that you're going to build your own templates. You're going to, from scratch, do things and set them up. Microsoft was not set up on beginning with profits. Many other organizations, right? So you set them up with passion, something you live in. People are trying to go to the moon out of passion.
Yeah.
It's not yet making money, it's making losses as it is.
Yes.
But it's a passionate business that they know in the long term, it will make money. It will give them not only money, but wealth. Let me say wealth. I want to move away from money. Wealth.
Yes. Wealth.
Wealth, yes. Yeah. The wealth creating businesses, the money making businesses. You can use them depending on how you want to view things.
Yes.
But certain businesses, like that business they'll create you wealth, but you'll be broke. Because you know that you plan that.
You'll be cash broke.
Yeah, you'll be cash broke.
Yeah.
Money broke, as they say.
But asset rich.
But asset rich.
Yes.
It'll be wealth.
Yes.
Your wealth will go up.
Yes.
over the years. And you know that at year 7, that's when the tip goes where my wealth and my money are kind of aligned. Yeah? So you want to get there.
That's the aha moment.
Yeah. But to get there, you go through periods where there's no business. You sit and there's like zero business. But because you know the long term, the passion, you're going to come back tomorrow and sit there. Because you know what the end game is, and what the goal is, and the objective of that particular business. If that objective was to make money every day and you're not, you lose it out. You go crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. The other question I had, how do you measure this ROI? How do you sit down and say, okay, this was proper return on investment for 1, 2, 3? Because you talked about different types of businesses, short-term, medium, long-term. How do you measure the ROI? Is it only just monetary based, or you measure it in different metrics?
That's really up to you as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur to say, I want to go into this business for 20 years, for 10 years, and how am I going to do it? If you build a petrol station, for example, the return on investment on day 1 is, what is it? On day 2, on day 3, you realize it probably maybe year 3, year 5 going forward. So return on investment is it's a standard calculation, financial calculation. So you use that formula and you decide what's the level that I'm comfortable with over the years. It's your own formula. Each man or each entrepreneur will have their own formula to say, what's the return on investment here? What's the rate of return on this investment? Do I like it over this period? Am I okay with this ROI being here and then here and then here? I mean, that's just a formula of how you mix up your bag. That one is personal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a personal to each individual. Your risk of appetite, your exposure to resources and so forth can determine that for you.
Okay, lovely. So my last question for you is, how do you want to be remembered as Tshepo Keakile?
That's a big one.
Yes.
That's a very big question. I never thought I'll have to be remembered. I believe I'll always be around. Where will I be when I'll be around? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's very important. One thing that I've learned over the years, when you're running a business or doing anything that people are not familiar with, there's always a lot of misconception. Or what's the right word? Misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, one thing that I pray for anybody is to find ways that people don't misunderstand you, either your intentions, your actions, or your words. Because when people don't understand you, they can lose a lot of things in translation. Okay? So I will also always want to be remembered as who I am, without any loss of interpretation due to misunderstandings or rather misinterpretations, misperceptions. So I'll always want to be remembered of who I am. And those who know me will always remember me for who I am.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. We really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Deep Dive is dedicated to bringing you the most comprehensive and engaging information about business, personal finance, and personal development. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all our latest content. If you liked this video, give it a like to show your support and help us reach a wider audience. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family who may be interested. Sharing helps us grow our community and connect with like-minded individuals. Leave a comment below and give us your biggest takeaway on this episode. If you're interested in being a part of our live studio audiences, make sure to register for the next show. Can't make it to the show? No problem. Check out our Patreon page to watch the full episode and get exclusive access to more great content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Deep Dive.